Welcome to the Daily B Show with Alina Martin. Winning at life your own way. We're going to be having an amazing discussion. Alina, he's basically been living her dream life and is here and is expert in helping you live your dream life. And so we're going to be having a great conversation about her journey, where she's been, the trials and tribulations that she's had to go through to achieve what she has, and what she's doing now to help you do the same. Alina, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Fantastic. So for those that haven't had the opportunity to meet you face to face or online, can you share a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what you're up to?
Yes, I am from Sydney. I'm a yoga person.
Yeah, beautiful.
um, well, if you're a yoga teacher, you're a yoga student, you're
hmm
a
Student of life almost when it
yeah,
gets into the yoga. I've only
yeah.
just started learning about yoga myself. I've
Okay.
only just started kind of practicing bits of yoga. But what I'm finding is that when yoga sort of finds you, it's when you're at, I don't know, like what I'm getting from my own journey and the people that I'm meeting is that it comes into your life when you're at sort of a transitional point and really wanting to step up and just really invigorate your inner self to just continue to grow and develop that inner core being that you are. And yoga is this, I guess, this practice that is just helps from the inside out. When people say look within, the answers are always within.
That's right.
Yoga is one of these practices that just really helps the body and the mind just connect
That's
and
right.
and find that unity and that balance in finding those answers. Is that how
Yeah,
you'd sort of
yeah,
describe it, or?
absolutely. The original Sanskrit meaning of yoga is to yoke and to unite.
Sounds
So
delicious.
it's all about
Yeah.
uniting and integrating all the
Mm.
different levels of your being. You've
Yeah.
got, all the different bodies,
Mhm.
energetic bodies
Mhm.
and physical bodies, and they've all got their very special names.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
to keep it really simple, it
Yeah.
does. I mean, it's how you feel after a really good meditation or a good rest or a
Mm.
good yoga practice. You feel clearer, you feel more grounded,
Mm.
you feel more open, and you go out in the
Mm.
world and you're probably a
Mm.
nicer person.
I find as well, like just my intuition is on point so much more. It's like I can tell so clearly the days that I don't meditate or do
Yeah,
yoga compared to the ones I do.
yeah,
Is life just seems so much more simple and blissful and effortless,
yeah.
just because my intuition's on point and I've got a lot more trust in just the natural flow of things, as opposed to getting caught up in my mind and confused and uncertain and all these sorts of things that come up.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good
Mm,
way to tap into the creative mind
mm,
and just, you know, let go of the monkey mind for a bit
yeah,
or
yeah.
observe it or witness it.
And on that, you are
Yeah.
putting together your first transformational wellness retreat that's coming
Yeah.
up in December.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
So exciting.
You've just moved up to the to the Sunshine Coast a
Sunshine
couple of years
Coast.
ago.
No, only like literally 8 months
Oh,
ago.
8 months ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
got that wrong. Yeah, 8 months ago. Wow.
Yeah.
So settling into the sunny coast, putting on your first retreat, completely transforming what you were doing to what you're doing now,
Yes.
and just sort of reinvigorating your life with your partner and your kids up here.
That's right. Yeah, radical change,
Yeah.
radical decisions. And, sometimes people
hmm
say when you want to change your life, oh, you don't have to do it all at once, just baby steps
hmm
and all that. But,
hmm
sometimes it's just bang on. It's like,
hmm
let's go. I'm making a big decision.
hmm
I'm making some big changes. I'm going to take a
mm
risk
Yeah.
because risk nothing, gain nothing.
Yeah.
And if I think about what was holding me back
hmm
before, it was other people's
mm
judgments
Yeah.
and it was worrying about external factors beyond my control.
Okay.
And really, when I bring it back to my own self acceptance and self worth and
Mm.
self love, what makes my heart happy? And then you just let
Mm.
go of everything else. But
Yeah.
it's a process to get there.
Massive. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So can you touch on for me taking a step back to when it
Yeah.
wasn't like this, like the
Right.
anxieties and the stresses and the
Yeah.
things that came up? Like, what were some of the things that really bogged you down and had you trapped, did you feel?
Wow. I mean, you could look at so many things. You could look at health challenges. You could look at the past pulling pulling me back, the fears,
Mhm.
that
So take me specifically back to when, like, your deepest, darkest time where you really felt that something's got to change or something's got to give, or like the turning point
uh-huh.
where you just hit that point and it was like, this is my line in the sand, like no more of
Okay.
this.
So A big one for me was when I was 21 years old, and I was an actress and I was studying, and I had just finished my graduation performance, and I went out with my friends, and I was driving home, and I was the designated driver, and it was, the wee hours of the morning, and a girl came through a red light and totaled my car.
Yeah, wow.
And I had my whole life flash before me,
Mm-hmm.
and it just broke me apart.
Yeah.
Physically, emotionally, mentally. It made me
Yeah.
question, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
You know.
It's really faced with your own mortality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's been a very long healing journey,
Yeah.
and I've looked at all. I've experimented with lots of different modalities,
Mm.
and I guess at that point I decided I needed to. It just sort of pushed me onto a spiritual seeking.
Quest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Because you really took that on. Like you went over to India, you traveled the world.
That's
Like you
right.
did. Yeah. Can you tell us a
Yeah,
bit about that? Because
yeah.
that's pretty epic when you were telling me about that yesterday.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I did after the accident, when I could walk properly, was go and do a Vipassana meditation retreat.
Yeah. 10-day silent retreat.
Yes,
It's
10 days silence. I sat with
yeah.
my pain. It was, it really put me in the present moment. And then I knew I wanted to travel, so I just saved up and went traveling and backpacking around Asia, India, Europe for a year, just roughing it, just staying in, dodgy places, in
Yeah.
India, 50 cents a night,
Yeah. Nice.
sleep on a, wooden table
Yeah.
or something. And
Yeah.
anyway, so I was looking for some really authentic yoga,
Mm-hmm.
and so I was walking along the Ganges River in Rishikesh,
Mm-hmm.
and I kept going into different ashrams, and nothing was really floating my boat. And I came right down to the end of the path, and this guy called Steve walks out, and he's walking down the step. And this is a guy I met in Thailand.
Yeah.
Didn't even know he would be here. So it
Yeah.
was all that synchronicity, like, hi, Steve, what are you doing? And he looked really relaxed. He looked really
Yeah.
chilled out. It's like, oh. And he's like, oh, I've been doing some yoga here. And I'm like, oh, is it good? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty good. And I thought, okay, well,
It's a
everyone
good
looks
sign.
pretty chilled. So I
Yeah.
might try this yoga in this ashram. And
Yeah.
and then there were some really great people there. It was heaps of fun. We just,
How long did you spend there?
I spent a few months there, and I
Yeah.
practiced like 6 to 8 hours of yoga a day.
Wow.
I did all the purification practices.
Okay.
It was very like just submerging yourself into it. And we had this Romanian Swami,
Okay.
which was
So what's a Swami for those that don't know?
so he was like the spiritual leader and the
Yeah.
teacher of the yoga
Yeah.
and the different types and
Yeah.
some tantric practices. And anyway, it was pretty funny because anytime anyone had like a illness or a physical symptom that
Yeah.
was uncomfortable,
Yeah.
they would knock on his door and say, Swami, Swami, I feel sick, or
Yeah.
I've got a weird rash or something, and he would just go purification, purification, like
Yeah.
everything, any physical symptom or illness, he would just say it was purification.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah,
So is that just the part of the body just like getting rid of the
probably. Yeah. I mean,
negative energies, the toxins
yeah,
and everything?
yeah.
Okay. Did you experience any of those yourself? Like
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I did oh my gosh, Shankar Prakshalana, it's called, the
Okay.
cleansing of the conch.
Yeah.
And
Cleansing of
you
the
just
conch.
you just like drink all this salt water and do all these exercises, and
Yeah.
you just like
Spew it back up. Chuck it
comes
all
out
back up.
everywhere, both ends and
Oh, yeah.
everything, and you just
Okay.
cleanse yourself right out.
Okay,
It was
cool.
very extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of those practices, like how they swallow the cloth and then they pull it back up,
Oh my
and
gosh.
all this. Yeah, there's lots of different cleansing processes that
Yeah.
blow my mind that I haven't practiced.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so you've taken this journey, like this inner quest, this spiritual journey that you've gone on to really, um, well, I guess I ask this from my own point of view as well, because when I came to a similar crossroad, I started to ask myself these questions like, what am I here for? And what is the purpose of all this? And who really am I? And
Yeah.
what am I doing here? What is the point of it all?
Yeah.
With what you've gone through, facing your own mortality, going on this quest that's really literally taken you around the world a few times. You've practiced some pretty full on yoga and meditation practices to really dig deep into yourself. What is it that you're really wanting to give back to people now, and what has inspired you to take this path of putting on retreats and holding space for people to really live a better life for themselves?
Love that question. Absolutely. It's about connecting to your truth and giving yourself permission to live your life in your own way, on your own terms. Like, one of the questions you can ask yourself is, who am I to me? Not who does everyone else say I am, or how they see me. Who am I to me, and what does my heart want? Like, what does it really want? And also, why do you want something, right? There's nothing wrong with wanting a flash car, but the reason often why you want something, because there's a feeling underneath it that it's going to give you. It's like a core desired feeling, a CDF, as Danielle Laporte refers to. I've been, reading some of her stuff, and I think that's really shifted some things for me as well. Because I question, why do I want something? Well, it's going to give you that feeling. Everyone's chasing a feeling. And I guess once you get over just sort of gratifying yourself, with, living in a great place, having a great marriage and kids and food and travel and everything you want, you're like, well, how can I serve others, of course, because how can I help people on a greater scale? And I was recently just really praying for, how can I serve in a meaningful way? What is my meaningful work? And it's all just coming now. It's like flowing. Like, so many people are helping me because I know it's time to pull it all together and really share this knowledge, help people tap into their inner freedom and giving themselves permission to live outside the box, live outside the square.
So many people are scared of outside the box.
And that's real, and that feeling, I know that feeling. Of course. And I'm not going to discount that. Let's go into that. Let's go into it. Let's feel it. Let's look at it. And then you ask yourself two questions. What can I change? And what do I need to accept? That's all you can do. If you can't change it, you have to accept it.
So give me an example of something that has really had a profound impact with yourself. Like, what's something that you found yourself needing to change, and what's something you really found yourself needing to accept in order to step outside the box and feel the fear and do it anyway, and really like express yourself and live your true creative purpose.
Well, I guess an example could be a physical injury. So a year ago, I slipped in a supermarket and totally twisted bent my ankle and fell flat on the ground, and it just, it debilitated me for a bit. It made me really knocked me off my center. So, but healing sometimes takes time. Right. So I get really impatient because as soon as I get clear on something, I want it done right now. I'm like, let's go. But it's okay. Just, you have to surrender as well. You have to surrender to your highest good.
Letting go of the
how you think it should be. What's your dream life? Oh, well, it has to be in a 3-story house, and I need to go to Europe, and I need, why? So if you're not doing those things, can you still have a dream life? Can you still enjoy yourself? Because it's never going to turn out exactly how we think or we want. That's our ego, that's our attachment going, well, I can only have my dream life if I've got these purple and green cushions. I mean, if they were blue, I mean, what am I going to do? It's like, let's just open up a bit to how it can look and feel.
I think something that really confused me for such a long time was on one hand, people were saying you need to be really clear about your goals and your visions and
Right.
your missions and be really,
Right.
really clear about that. And they were saying it so eloquently and perfectly,
Mhm.
and I was
Mhm.
sold. But
Yeah.
then on the other hand, there's people saying you just need to just be in the moment,
Yeah.
just live right here. Now is the only time there is. And they were
Yes.
saying that so eloquently and selling me on that. I'm like, how do these two come together? Because I'm sold
Yes.
on both. I don't know what's going on. But then, like what you're saying right now, is that getting clear on something and a
Mhm.
goal and a vision, because essentially there's infinite potentialities of things that
That's
can
right.
happen. And no matter what we think of is going to be in the future, it can be infinitely worse, infinitely better.
Yeah.
It's just our imagination making something up. But be clear on that so at least we've got something to aim towards,
Right.
and then let the fuck go of it so
Yeah.
that it's not something that we're attached to and holding on to.
Yeah.
Live here in the present moment. And that's how they've found marrying those two together is
Mhm.
more so framing that future pacing and those goal setting as just my imagination, knowing that I'm a primitive being compared to the intelligence that created all of this.
Yeah.
I just need something to walk towards, and
Yeah.
as long as I'm in motion, which is all goals are
That's
for,
right.
is just to keep us in motion.
That's right.
Like we were setting out some goals today, and we're like, these retreats that we're doing,
Yeah.
we're aiming towards those, but there's something bigger on the side. There's a
Of course.
processionary effect that's happening,
Yeah.
and when I really recognize that and put that into practice, it's made life, I think, so much more less stressful because I'm not so attached to the things I need to achieve,
Yes.
but I can get really super clear on it, but
Yeah.
then be able to let go and really just enjoy, the beauty of this moment, of
That's right.
this
Same.
scenery, the
Yeah.
people I'm here, the activities that we're doing, and
Yeah.
it's so much, like you said yesterday, I'm living my dream life.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to wait for the pink cushions or the blue
Mhm.
cushions or the
Yeah.
house. You recognize that this is a dream.
And I've decided
Mm-hmm.
and I've made that decision. And do you know why there's no need to worry?
Mm.
Because everything happens for my highest good,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And anything
Mm.
I want for the highest good of all beings.
Yeah.
And if you have those intentions in your
Mm.
heart and your mind,
Mm.
it's going to be okay.
And these are such simple reframes, seemingly simple, but
Yeah.
such profound impacts from. I remember when I was like, the world's a terrible place and everything's
Yeah.
fucked up and everything's
Yeah.
happening to me. But then when you really let that sink in, like, okay, everything is actually happening for me. It's not happening to me. It's happening
Yes.
specifically for me to guide me and lead me down the path that I'm meant to be down.
Yeah.
And everything that happens, whether it be a twisted ankle in a supermarket or a car
Yeah.
accident, it's guiding us to something that is what that we're meant to be doing.
Yeah.
Um, it it makes things so much more um, digestible when they happen. I
Yeah.
feel, yeah, like
Yeah.
the messed up things that are clearly going to
Yeah.
happen.
That's right. Yeah, life is going to
Yeah.
happen and sometimes it does weigh you down and but you've got to look at where you're at on that day. So look at your energy levels on that day. You know, just do what you can in that one
Mm.
day.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes just have a nap. Like lie down with an eye pillow and some relaxing music or a
Yeah.
guided meditation. I mean, I love that. Get a
Yeah.
great guided meditation, lie down,
Hmm.
surrender, and then see what happens that afternoon or the next day. I mean, you're going to
Yeah.
be even more productive. You've gotten out of your own way, so other things will flow to you.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
why do we always think we have to force and push? What are we going to manifest from
Yeah.
that energy of
Yeah.
forcing and striving and pushing? That's
Yeah.
why the world is how it is in the messed up ways,
Mm.
because it's all been about trying to control and
Force.
force, and
Yeah.
that's
There's an amazing
you do
book,
better than
Power
that.
versus Force,
Oh, okay,
by
yeah.
David Hawkins, and it's
Oh,
all
good.
about the power of letting go. Like it's so counterintuitive. You think I need to
Oh, yeah,
control everything, I need to
yeah. To
maintain
make it
everything.
happen, or
Yeah, but
yeah,
when you let go and give over that power,
yeah.
you actually gain more power in what you're doing and just following just the ebbs and flows of life and being guided by your intuition and
That's
by
right.
the breeze,
Yeah,
instead of trying to hold onto and attach like a leech onto this path that you think you need to be walking down and
absolutely.
forcing it.
Yeah.
Um, Phenomenal book, epic read, blew my freaking mind. I couldn't talk to people for about a week afterwards.
Okay.
You get more sense out of a 4-year-old than me after that, trying to
Mm,
explain it and just yeah, it took a while to sort of embody and sink in. But
yeah,
yeah, that's an amazing read for anyone that's wanting to know a little bit more and go
definitely.
into depth. But speaking of guided meditations, you got a free giveaway for listeners and
Yes,
for
I
anyone
do.
that jumps on board. I'll bring it up here. Do you want to share a little bit about this?
Yes, I do. So it's a free tool to help you solve any problem.
Any problem.
And we can even start to substitute the word problem with challenge because it's so much more exciting.
Or
So
even opportunity.
yeah, yeah. So
But that's a part of the starting of the reframing, is because life does throw you heaps of fucking problems at the start when you're unaware of how else to think of them. But then when you start to recognize that these problems are actually my opportunities,
yeah,
and this is where I'm at in my journey of evolving
that's right.
and growing as an individual and as a conscious entity, well then these problems very quickly become challenges to accept and
Yeah,
opportunities to grow from. So I'm excited to take a look at this myself and to get a
yeah,
bit of guided meditation and go through this as well, just to
yeah.
reaffirm and to learn something new. And yeah, guys, just definitely check it out. So there'll be a link in the bio here for you guys as well.
Yeah, and then you just go to my website, retreatsbyalina.com.au, and enter your email address for the freebie.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Love it. All right. Look at you. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Now, where are we? There we go. Okay. So take me back to the start. Where did you grow up? Where are you from?
Sydney.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Family?
Yeah, I've got a little sister and
Cool.
parents. Had a pretty happy childhood. Had a good childhood. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful.
Yeah.
And finished high school? Went to uni?
No, I
Anything like that?
studied acting instead.
Oh
Went to
yeah,
the
too.
Actor Centre
Yeah,
in
cool.
Surrey Hills with Dean Carey and
Okay.
the Young Actor Studio in NIDA, and
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett used to teach me acting.
Cool.
Yeah,
Really cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I was really passionate
Yeah.
about it. I did
Yeah.
theatre and short
Yeah.
films
Yeah,
and
cool.
all
I
of
did a bit
that.
at the VCA in Melbourne
Oh,
and
cool.
the National Theatre down there as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, did a few student films and theatre productions, and yeah, it's pretty fun acting.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
What I loved about it is it kind of fed into the whole personal development thing because you've got to kind of sort of pull yourself apart and you question, how do I think, how do I walk, and all of that, the inner
Yeah.
monologue, and you can just learn so much about life from studying acting, and it's
Yeah.
great. Like I was so into it. I lived and breathed it.
Yeah.
But then I got to another turning point with that where I thought I just feel like when I was going for auditions professionally and I had an agent, and I always felt like I had to try and be someone else. And it's like, and you never knew what
Yeah.
they were looking for. And
Yeah.
it's like, in a way, I was always not quite good enough. So it was that feeling of like, oh, you missed that one because you didn't have this or you weren't this. And I thought,
Yeah.
oh, I don't really like this feeling anymore. I just want to be me and I want to express myself creatively. So that I went more into the musical journey and I
Okay.
wrote songs and did performances and sang
Yeah, cool.
and did that. So
Like bands or just by
yeah,
yourself? Yeah.
bands and
What kind of music?
it was some rock, some bluesy jazz,
Nice.
some spiritual
Yeah. Lovely.
music.
And your partner is still a muso in a band now
He's
as
not
well?
currently in a band, but he was in a punk band recently,
Yeah.
and we're gonna do some music together and collaborate as well. And
Sweet.
yeah,
Do you play instrument?
I play the piano. I studied classical
Okay.
piano for 15 years,
Oh wow, really?
and I
There you go.
sing, and
Lovely. That's
yeah,
so cool. Okay.
yeah,
Nice. I have to
yes.
get you up and get you on here singing one time.
My go-to is Fever in A minor.
Yeah. You,
It's my yeah.
you can give us a bar?
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much I care.
Yeah.
That'll do.
That's amazing. I love
Thanks.
listening to live music. I think that when people, especially singing, but when people are performing just live, it's makes me sweat. It's nerve-wracking to watch because they're just pouring their heart out. It's completely open, completely expressive.
Yeah.
And it's what we try and do every single day on the day-to-day around people, but we're so quick to judge ourselves and to feel like others are judging us and feel like we need to reserve ourselves and hold ourselves back and
Yeah.
not be out of the box and not be out in the ordinary and not push the envelope. But that's essentially what it's all about, isn't it? Is stepping outside the box
Yes.
and
Getting in the arena, like
getting in the arena.
Brene Brown.
Yeah,
You know, shame
100%.
versus vulnerability.
Yeah.
you got to get in the arena
Yeah.
and get your hands dirty.
Uh-huh.
And then, if someone's not in there with you, then their opinion doesn't matter,
No, well,
right?
yeah, opinions don't really matter anyway. Well,
Yeah.
they say
So
opinions
what
like
other
assholes, we've all got one.
and what other people
Mm.
think of you is none of your business,
Yeah.
right? Yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely. So liberating.
How long did it take you to get that one?
Oh, probably just before I moved up here, to be honest, within the last year.
Yeah.
I mean, a personal story about this would be I got rid of my couch. So I sold my couch to some kids in a share
Yeah.
house, and it was a really nice custom modular number.
Hmm.
And my father-in-law just gave me such a hard time about it.
For selling
And
your couch?
yeah, like
Okay.
because I was letting go of some of these material
Mm.
possessions, and that was seen as flippant or
Mm.
extravagant because
Okay.
it's worth money and you're
Yeah.
just giving it away.
Yeah.
But you know,
Okay. Very
and
cool.
yeah, and it's just conditioning, and it's
Yeah.
okay, and like they're all good people. It's just,
Mm.
um, I guess it was seen as wasteful, but my bigger picture was like, let's go of some of this stuff because there's an amazing life waiting for me up there. I can have the old comfortable
Mm.
couch, or I can let that go and
Mm.
just like, whoo,
Yeah.
fly.
100%.
Yeah,
And has he come to visit you yet, or seen you up here, or?
not yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, no hard feelings. Like,
Yeah, of
and
course.
also I feel like when you do start to give yourself permission to live your life that you really want, it can like ruffle some feathers and rock the boat a little bit, and people
Fuck yeah.
can, because it makes them think, oh, well, maybe I'm not living how I want, and or but by the same token, the flip side is it gives people permission to start doing that themselves as well,
Yeah.
because now they're about to go on an overseas journey and they haven't traveled for ages.
Okay, cool.
So now they're opening their minds to
Mm.
other experiences as well. So we're
Yeah,
all on
yeah.
our own journey, and
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
I just, accept people as they are, and I think we all have the freedom to choose, and I think we all need to let go of judgment of others, especially online. I mean, there's a lot of pressure and,
Yeah.
all that stuff on social media, people criticizing. I mean, if you've got the time to criticize someone else, what could you be doing instead? You could be like, working on yourself or doing something amazing, or that's something that makes you happy, rather than sitting
Yeah.
there like pointing a finger at someone. That's not going to bring happiness.
There's less than, I would say, 5% of people that really look at themselves,
Wow.
I reckon. Most people are stuck in the status quo, happy blaming
Mm,
everything and everyone else,
mm,
happy pointing the finger, quick to judge,
mm,
um, which is fine. Like it is where it's at where it's at. Um, but that's where, when people do start taking on that journey and do start to look within,
mm.
it's the most intense adventure you can ever go on,
Yeah.
because like just that simple statement we said before, like everything's happening for us, it that literally means all the shit, all the messed up things that we look at there that is coming our way, that seemingly is negative, and we've
Mm,
tried to resist for so long, we've just kept pushing it back away, away and
mm.
away. We're now to swallow that pill, like, hang on, why is this happening for me? Why is this coming up for me? Um, that's not an easy task. It's not easy to
No.
do. Like, that takes big balls to be
Yeah,
able to face that,
it
and
does.
to actually own that, because not many people are doing it. And like you said,
Mm,
like when we do step out and start to express ourselves openly and
mm.
honestly and truthfully, it is going to rustle some feathers. It
Yeah,
does mean that I'm not going to be a people pleaser anymore.
yeah.
It doesn't mean that I'm not going to just bend over and do something because someone else might like to. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, a conversation I had with my mum last week was, she had all these like dried fruit and nuts that she bought, and there was, I forget what it was, but there was like one left of something, and
Yeah,
we were taught, don't take the last thing, right?
yeah.
And mum's like, no, you have it. I'm like, but you taught us not to have the last thing. And she said, I was wrong about that. Right? She's like, because what I've done by telling you that is told you that you're not worthy
Yeah,
of the last thing, and you should let anybody else and somebody else have
right.
that instead of you.
Yeah,
Yes, be polite and say, would
yeah,
anyone else like to share this?
yeah,
I'm going to have it. But you're completely worthy of having the last thing. You don't need to
yeah.
stop just because there's other people around.
That's a good example.
Yeah. And when there's 95% of people that aren't on that train, and you start showing them what true expression is and
Yeah.
what your truth is, it does scare the shit out of them because it shines a light on their lack of doing that.
Yeah, the scarcity
Yeah,
thinking, the poverty
yeah,
consciousness.
yeah. Scarcity mindset.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
their ego wants to protect themselves.
Yeah,
They want to
that's
keep
right.
themselves safe,
Yeah.
and so they do everything and they lash out to um, to avoid being
Yeah.
exposed like that. So
Yeah.
naturally, they're going to say nasty things and throw stuff
Yeah.
out there. And so for me, that's been a pretty long journey. I'm sure you can
Yes.
confirm that
Yeah.
to now listen to people with those judgments,
Mm.
I meet that with love
Yeah, of
and
course.
compassion
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
like I can see where they're at and that's
Yeah.
fine and I accept that and I'm willing to be the pain in the ass that shows them their weak spots or the
Yeah.
one that rustles the feathers and it's sort of a privilege now to get haters or to get
Yeah.
um, animosity sometimes because people are uncomfortable. So
Yeah.
not that I go out there maliciously looking
No.
for it, but
No.
it's a beautiful cycle of life.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I saw The Lion King the other day. It was pretty awesome.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet, but I'd love to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good.
But
Yeah.
tell me more about the retreat and really what you're wanting to like. You're gonna have this retreat in December.
Yes.
Um, the Radical Self Care Retreat
Yes.
up here on the Sunshine Coast. You want to take a group of women. There's
Mhm.
about 20 spots available, give or take, depends on
Yeah.
the location, which is yet to be confirmed.
Yeah.
And you want to take them on this epic 3-day journey. Tell me about the women that you want to bring into the retreat and
Mhm.
sort of what they've been going through,
Mhm.
some of the challenges that you've overcome yourself,
Yeah.
and what you want them to release them into the world after working with you.
Okay. Capture and release. Well,
Capture and release.
I'll have to tag them all and monitor
Mm,
their progress.
yeah, absolutely.
So, the women are probably used to putting themselves last and
Mm-hmm.
not taking that last bit of nourishment,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Putting everyone else before
putting
them. So,
everyone else
yeah.
before them, and sometimes I think, especially as a mum, you got, if your kid's sick or they need this, they will keep pulling you and pulling you and pulling you and need you, and
Mm.
it's very in the now, and you can have the best plans and intentions for life and business,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's like, they just need you right now. And
Mm-hmm.
so
Yes.
it's built
Yeah.
into our DNA, and dads
Yeah.
as well,
Of
and
course.
it's like, it's not just women, it's people, and
Of
it's
course.
especially giving people and loving people,
Mm-hmm.
and you want everyone to be happy, and so you give that bit extra, but then sometimes you feel, when your tank's a little bit empty, you might start feeling resentment,
Mm-hmm.
towards your partner, towards, your boss, towards your friends. Because why? Because you're running on empty.
Mm-hmm.
So you might be a bit stressed, you might be a bit negative, you might be, run down,
Yeah.
burnout.
Yeah.
I
Absolutely.
mean, burnout,
It's
I almost,
massive.
I've felt that, and
Mm-hmm.
that's no good, because then you're of no use to anyone.
Mm.
So these women are already in tune with themselves and their bodies and their hearts and their minds, and they know what they want, and they're
Mm.
intelligent and they're amazing, but they just need a little bit of time and space to
Yeah.
let it go, breathe, just jump into a beautiful, meditation, and be recharged, and eat some wonderful, healthy, vibrant food, and just walk and look at the trees and breathe and have a laugh and connect with
Yeah.
like-minded people.
Yeah.
And so,
Completely
yeah,
rejuvenate themselves and
definitely.
because
Yeah.
one thing I've noticed and noticing more and more is definitely with parents more so, but even just people that are wage slaves that are slaving
Yeah.
away
That's right.
30, 40, 50 hours a week
Yeah.
just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
They get home at the end of the day, at the end of the week, and they're exhausted. They don't have the effort or the inclination to sit down and
No.
focus on themselves and do
Yeah.
this self introspection because it takes a lot of energy
Yeah, it
and a lot of
takes
time.
energy and time. That's right. Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
what these retreats are great for is to completely reset and recharge. So,
Yeah.
come detox your energies, detox your bodies, rejuvenate your energy supplies,
Yeah.
feel like just give yourself the permission to sit with yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to sit with a group of people that are holding space for you, to nourish you, and
Yes.
to give you the best opportunity to rejuvenate, so that when you go back, you can go back with a bit of a plan of
Yeah.
how to start implementing some healthy habits, a plan of how you're going to be able to better manage your emotions, and
Yes.
also a few new skills and tips and
That's
tricks,
right.
and practices, whether it be meditation or
Yeah.
yoga or otherwise, or even healthy eating habits
Yeah.
that you can implement yourself, but also introduce to your family.
Yeah.
And just bit by bit, just drip feed new healthy habits into your life, so
Yeah.
that slowly it just becomes your natural lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get to this point. You said to me yesterday, I'm living my dream life. It's beautiful. And
Yeah.
that just blows me away when I hear that.
And one of the
Yeah.
reasons is because I have given myself
Mm.
permission to go on retreats this year. I mean, I'm booked
Yeah.
in for another couple more. I've been on a couple. I love it. It's awesome. I
Yeah.
just you go have fun. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It does open up your mind to new possibilities,
It
and
absolutely
there's a
does.
lot of great stuff out there at the moment. So it's
100%.
really fun to tap into.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah.
Who's been some of your more notable mentors or
Mm-hmm.
influences or books you read or things that have
Yeah.
really impacted you in a big way to help you on this journey?
Well, I'd love to give a shout out to my current business coach, and also the husband and wife team,
Hmm.
Erin and Currick Ashley. They're up
Yeah,
here on the Sunshine Coast.
beautiful.
I'm loving being in their inner circle and
Yeah,
working with them, and that's definitely helping take things to the next level.
yeah,
So
beautiful. They're going to be on
yeah.
the show pretty soon as well.
Oh wow, can't
Yeah,
wait. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. And what about some books that you may have read, or any other sort of
Mm.
yeah, things that has inspired you and really helped get you to where you are at the moment as well, that people might be able to look up?
I think, well, there's this a journal, the Core Desired Feelings journal by Danielle Laporte,
Hmm.
and on the front it says, "What I will do to feel the way I want to feel." And so
Okay.
it's got, the daily pages of
Yeah.
you can map out what you're doing and how you want to feel, and it just gets you a sort of snapshot to start asking yourself those questions and
Mm,
dig a bit deeper.
mm.
So that's been great. So yeah, there's lots. I can put together a little list as well and share it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
that'd
Okay,
be cool.
fantastic. I
Yeah.
love it. Is there anything else that you'd really like to share or pass on to the audience and people that are watching?
Yes.
Yeah,
Keep telling yourself that you are abundant and you are worthy of the best.
absolutely. I love it. Gives a hug. Awesome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was great.
Guys, you rock my world. Welcome to the Daily Bee again, and we look forward to having you here every other day. I don't even know who's coming up next. I think we've got oh man, I've got so many people coming up. You'll just have to wait and see. Episode 101 in the bag. Alina, you're amazing. Thank you
Thank
for
you. You
joining us
too.
again, guys. Have a wonderful. I'll chuck up this retreat image for you guys to check out. Come and see Alina on the Sunshine Coast, Radical Self Care Retreat from the 6th to the 8th. Check the link in the bio, and we look forward to seeing you guys there.